Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning back into this PTC Potential Tropical Cyclone 9 discussion for July 29th, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, it would really be nice if you guys did hit that subscribe button. I really cannot believe that I hit 800 subscribers already, so thank you guys so much. And we're on our way to 900 and eventually even more exciting, the big 1,000 subscribers. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as ringing the bell notifications so you will not miss my next video. Also, please do watch the whole video because this does help my channel grow significantly. So please do watch the whole video and liking and sharing this video as well. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So today we're going to be talking about potential tropical cyclone 9. I have been talking about Invest 92L. I have done a couple of videos on Invest 92L. This is the same storm, except it is not Invest anymore. It is potential tropical cyclone 9. This will soon become tropical storm Isaias here, and this storm could be heading for the East Coast. Okay, this almost looks like a similar track to Irma in the sense that it could go up the central or west coast of Florida. That's pretty much what Irma ended up doing. Well, it's forecast to go up the middle of Florida. But now Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina are all in the cone now. And even North Carolina has a chance to see tropical storm force winds. You'll see that cone in a second. But we do have tropical storm warnings for Puerto Rico and the northern Windward Islands, the Dominican Republic here, Haiti, as well as parts of the southern Bahamas here. All right. And then up there towards central Bahamas, we got our tropical storm watches. All right. But this storm is forecast to be a tropical storm moving to the northwest and then maybe going up Florida, Georgia, and then might head up the East Coast. I mean, we don't even know if it's gonna make landfall in Florida yet. But with this solid cone here, this is the 3-day forecast cone, which means this goes out 3 days and this goes out 5 days. So basically, this storm, if this happened to be right, this storm would be making landfall in Miami in about 2.5 or 3 days or so. All right. But this cone is the more, it's a smaller cone, which means we're more confident in it compared to this cone where it extends out to a further range. But you can see all those orange areas. This has a pretty big tropical storm wind field. As you can see, covering pretty much all Puerto Rico and the northern islands here. All right, so, and this storm has a pretty big wind field. It is currently has 45 mile per hour sustained winds, which is the sustained winds of a tropical storm, but it's also got to have that organization, which it doesn't quite have. But the good thing about this, and that's why the flooding threat won't be so much of an issue. I mean, we will still have some flooding here, but I think because it's moving at 23 miles per hour, which is very fast for a tropical cyclone, this will potentially cut down the rainfall totals, but we can still see some dangerous flooding. All right, so let's take a look at the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. As you can see, we got Alabama, Tennessee, we got even up through Southern Virginia are in the cone here, meaning they have at least a 5% chance to see tropical storm force winds. All right, but what you're looking for is this region right here. This is the NHC cone right here. You got a 10% or greater chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. All right, but now, I mean, when you talk about central and southern Florida and southeastern Florida, you got about a 40 to 50% chance to see tropical storm force winds, and they would be arriving. The earliest reasonable arrival time would be Saturday morning for up through central and southern Florida, but the most likely time is Saturday evening. But definitely a good time to start getting your act together, getting everything. Hopefully everything should be making those preparations by now, but it's a good time to start bracing for the storm based on the timestamp shown here. Obviously, Eastern Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, you're pretty much seeing this thing right now because you have a 90% plus chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. So if you guys haven't prepared now, I honestly don't know what to say. All right. Looking at the Bahamas here, though, you got a good chance of seeing tropical storm force winds as well. Again, meaning winds of 40 miles per hour or greater. All right. So this is, again, it's the 5 o'clock advisory. You can see storm about 45 mile per hour winds moving through, and it looks like, all right, it will be avoiding land. Once it moves over Dominican Republic and Haiti, it will be avoiding land, moving over this little narrow area of warmer water here, and then moving up through Florida. So that's why they're giving it a little bit more strength now, maybe 60, maybe making landfall with 65 mile per hour winds according to this update, then 50, then it's still a tropical storm, 45, then 40. It's still a tropical storm, even moving through central Florida and up through Georgia here. So that's pretty interesting. Some areas that are seeing tropical storm force winds right now, just west of St. John's, we got Basseterre. I don't know exactly how you say that. We got Ponce here. We got San Juan, all seeing tropical storm force winds. Anywhere inside this teal circle here, that's your tropical storm wind field. But don't worry, Dominican Republic. All right, you guys are gonna be in it next. Turks and Caicos, you guys will be in it next too, and then eventually up to the Bahamas. But you guys have a tropical storm watch. I mean, we're not quite seeing it yet, all right, but it will be here pretty soon. So some key messages here for potential tropical cyclone 9, soon to be tropical storm Isaias here. This will be producing heavy rain and potentially life-threatening flash flooding. Talk about the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Tropical storm conditions, we could see Leeward Islands, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, maybe the southeast of Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, even up through Florida. We'll have to see, depending on the track here. Like I said, long-range track and intensity is still very uncertain. This could go up the East Coast. This could go right up the middle of Florida and head through the southeast United States. Still a lot of tracks this could take here, but this system could bring rainfall and some stronger winds to portions of Cuba, the Bahamas, and Florida later this week and probably into the weekend for Florida here. So interest in any of these regions should definitely monitor the progress of the storm. Hopefully you are already. So again, this has 45 mile per hour sustained winds, as you can see right here. Pressure's been dropping a little bit to 1,006 millibars, but as you can see, this by the radius of circulation, radius of wind here, this is a fairly large system. All right, so let's take a look at our ocean water anomalies. As you can see, where the storm is going to be tracking through the near future, looks like we got some warmer waters here, but if it moves over land, that defeats the purpose of the strengthening. Since we had a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico there, that has led to some cooling of the waters a little bit. So central Gulf of Mexico, you guys are about 1-2 degrees Celsius ish below average here. So Gulf of Mexico has really cooled down here due to Hurricane Hannah moving through there. If it does move up the East Coast, however, we got some warmer than average temperatures, sea surface temperatures off the southeast coast and the East Coast. So that would make the storm a lot stronger if it went up the East Coast, because the Gulf Stream waters are in the upper 80s on the Gulf Stream here, even up through North Carolina. Okay, in the same latitude as say North Carolina, Virginia Beach, we still got waters of well into the mid 80s. But this storm's gonna have a good time. The warmer the water, it's basically like a party for this thing. Okay, the more it's gonna have fun. Looks like the waters are very warm right now, surrounding Florida. Now, looking at the aircraft reconnaissance data here, obviously they did finish this, but they did find some peak level flight wind speeds of about 45 to 50 knots. Which, in case you guys don't know, how I like to calculate this is the peak. So if they find winds of 45 to 50 knots, usually that's a little bit too much because they're using peak 10-second flight level wind speed. So, and also depends on their flying altitude. So what I like to do, and this method usually works, is if they find, like they found here, winds of 45 knots, I will convert that into 45 miles per hour. Just change knots to miles per hour, and that's how I come up with my number for the next National Hurricane Center update. And it's still at 45 miles an hour right now, so looks like that method is continuing to work here. But they are finding some 45, maybe closer to 50 mile an hour winds. This seems like it's the latest update here. According to this, either the airplane finished or got cut off, or it's still trying to fly around the source system, because there's a little plane there and it's facing this direction, going this way. So we'll see if the hurricane hunters are probably continuing to fly into this thing. But they did find one point. We had some winds of more than 55 knots. Okay, but that was one peak. Obviously, they also had some lower points down here. But they did find at one point peak winds of 55 knots. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this actually got bumped up to 50 mile per hour winds in the next update. But I'm not too certain about that. But this could become a tropical storm later tonight, overnight, into tomorrow possibly. All right, but still, this is definitely something we have to watch. And you look at the rainfall rates. We're talking about, we had rainfall rates here, 1.5 to 2 inches an hour. At that same time where we picked the area of strongest winds is when we found the area of heaviest rain. So whenever they were flying, this was about This is exactly at 9:30 this morning when this was. Okay, because here's 9:20, here's 9:40. So this line right here is 9:30, is when they found some pretty strong winds here, and also some very heavy rainfall. So I can't exactly tell where exactly they were at 9:30. I'd have to be watching it live as they were doing it. But I would assume that they were around here. It's either this location right here or this location right here. I assume that that's where they found the area of strongest wind and heaviest rainfall rates. So taking a look at what the low is right now, located about 65 degrees west and 16 degrees north. Again, tracking over and near the Dominican Republic here. All right, so when we look at the tracking now, look at some of the tracking models. As you can see, a lot of the models here do take this right up the East Coast. Usually, either we got going right into the Gulf, or it's going to track too far north and go out to sea. But this is taking a very unique track. We don't see this too often. But a lot of tracks, though, do bring up through Florida and then eventually up the East Coast. Pretty much 100%, or I actually say about 98% of the models do this. The only model that really doesn't do it is COTI, because they just got it banking off into the Gulf of Mexico and through the Northern Caribbean. We'll see with that model, but sometimes the model's a little silly at times, so we'll see. But at least a good chunk of the models are agreeing here, and I think that's good news in that, but like I said, all 20 models or 15 models here can agree, but then all 15, 20 models can shift in one update, so it's still important to watch the forecast here. Let's look at some GEFS tracks. You can see that a lot of them bring it right up the East Coast, but notice the orange lines here. 980 to 990 millibars. That means some very, very strong winds. That could be a Category 1 hurricane. Or it can be like Sandy, where it's a post-tropical cyclone, but it has the winds of a Category 1 hurricane. I mean, even extratropical cyclones, post-tropical cyclones can still have 80-mile-an-hour winds like Sandy did at landfall. 85, 90-mile-an-hour winds here. So that can still be the case. But when you sum up all the model tracks, which is what the black line does, it sums up all the model tracks in the one single track here. And the GEFS ensembles bring it right up the East Coast, just missing Florida and passing right over North Carolina, and then up the East Coast, passing through just southeast of Nantucket and out to sea, but still staying very close to the coast. So if it takes a track near and up the East Coast, this could mean some dangerous waves, some rip currents. But the GEPS tracks have it making that northern turn a little later. And this could make a pretty strong storm because you see some orange and even some reds here. So again, really low pressure out of this. But if they bring it through the Northern Caribbean into the Gulf, I did say that the southern track would make this thing weaker. But if it can track into the open Gulf of Mexico here, that could strengthen the storm. And even through landfall, we're talking about all the models holding some orange lines here. So still some very low pressure. 980 to 990 could be a strong tropical storm. Could be a weak Category 1 hurricane by that point. So looking at the intensity guidance, a lot of the models do think this will hold as tropical storm status. Our mere 1 or 2 models do make this a Category 1 plus. This model makes it a Category 4. Now we'll see about that. All right, but a good chunk of the models here do keep this a mid-level to even a stronger tropical storm. I would give it. Looking at the ship's diagnostic message here, let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better, because it's always good to see this better. Because sometimes the print's a little, sometimes the font's a little too faint on this map. So looking at the wind shear here, as you can see, wind shear is low right now, but notice how it really goes up over time, over the next 5 to 7 days. And now we're gonna have to watch, because that could make this thing extra tropical. That could kill the storm completely with wind shears of more than 50 miles an hour. That could certainly kill the storm, because that's way too much wind shear for any tropical cyclone to handle. Ocean temperatures, though, that is a good thing. That will go up to about 30 to 31 degrees Celsius over time, as you can see right here. All right, so some very warm waters over time. But if we got too much wind shear, then it kind of defeats the purpose of development. Looking at the storm speed here, moving very fast, but potentially slowing down as it heads closer to Florida. And I think the National Hurricane Center was trying to pinpoint that there. The storm speed could be slowing down from anywhere from 23, 24 miles an hour down to 10. Even maybe potentially a little bit lower than that. But heat content right now is very high, and I think will remain high up until about a week or so out in time, and then the heat content is going to plummet down to near nothing. But still, we could have some warmer ocean water. So looking at the GFS model here, so what do they really think? GFS model here does bring us a decent tropical storm or tropical depression, whatever you want to call it. What is it at this point? Just entity. Through the Bahamas, up the east coast of Florida, and then maybe getting picked up by a cold front, moved up the east coast, not really doing much with it at this point. So going to total precipitation according to the GFS model, they do bring a couple inches of rain through central and southern Florida here, but most of the rain, they actually put 6 to 10 inches nearly through northern Bahamas. And even maybe near, like just on the coast of North Carolina, maybe even 6 inches of rain as well, maybe a couple inches mixed with that cold front moisture for the mid-Atlantic, maybe a couple inches of rain there as well. Looking at the cyclonic vorticity signature here. So GFS here has this moving up through the Bahamas, all right, as you can see right there, all right, and then moving near the Bahamas and then up the east coast of Florida, like I said before. It is starting to lose a little bit of its energy, but it's still got a little kick in it. The center of the storm there still does have a little kick. And then it kind of just dies off, and then we could see something else respawning here. Obviously, this is PTC 9. This is another storm. I actually don't know what that is. Maybe that could be something that spawns later. Another low could potentially generate here. Let's look at the tropical, or look at the winds here. Obviously, we do have our tropical storm force winds. There they are. All right, that's indicated by the green colors or yellow. But look how we developed some more orange colors over time. So maybe some winds closer to 55, 60 miles an hour over time, depending on the exact track of that low. Then it kind of dies out, and then it kind of fires up a little bit. Again, maybe back to a tropical storm very briefly, and then kind of disappears up into the east coast. How about the GEM model here? GEM model is definitely treating this thing a little different. They have it moving right over Haiti and Dominican Republic. Some very heavy rainfall in place. Moving right up the west coast of Florida here. So very heavy rain just to the east of where that low is. So basically central and eastern Florida definitely want to watch out. Even the entire Florida peninsula needs to watch out for some very heavy rain. And then it goes right up to the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. Very, very heavy rainfall. Okay, so that we're going to have to be watching out for as well, because it's definitely no fun to have rainfall rates of more than an inch an hour that could be falling at times, especially if the storm is going to be moving slower by this point. So let's take a look at the total precipitation with the GEM model. They have a bullseye right on Jacksonville. 10 to 15 inches of rainfall here. Okay. Even right at the mid-Atlantic coast here. We're talking about northern Delaware up through Maryland. We're talking about 6 to 8 inches of rainfall, which is very, very heavy rainfall. And let's take a look at their view on the cyclonic vorticity signature. As you can see, very, very strong energy bands here, and that's what we're going to be watching as the storm moves up through Florida, then maybe getting a little bit more, re-strengthening in place as it moves right up through Delaware and New Jersey and through the Delmarva and the tri-state up there through Pennsylvania, as we head through August 4th. So the entire East Coast needs to keep a close eye on this. Okay, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, all the way up through New York. But definitely keep a close eye on this as we come towards the end here. I wanted to show the sustained winds with the GEM model and briefly show the European model. A little surprise for you guys. So GEM model does have it re-strengthening with some tropical storm force winds, maybe some 30, maybe some, 45 mile per hour winds, 50 mile an hour winds, just off the coast or on the shoreline of Delaware and New Jersey, as we head through the morning of August 4th. And looking at the European model here is a very interesting story, or a very interesting scenario here. Just off the east coast of Florida here, kind of similar to a Hurricane Matthew track. Then it goes right up in the mid-Atlantic on the morning of August 4th, right up into the Delmarva. So this is going to be very interesting. I definitely will be continuing to give you guys updates on this. So that's why you should definitely ring the bell notifications. Thank you guys for watching. I am The Weather Dude signing off. Till next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video.